Alright, so I thought I'd make another follow-up video on this little part of a different video I have. Um, I was going through some stuff and I found RG3 from the Redskins, and then RG3 is actually a chemical element called rontgenium. And I'm going to show you this video here, and it'll explain a little bit, and then I'm going to go in a little bit more in depth of some a few other things I found. So, like 111, and so RG3 is what they call the football player. When I looked him up, I found this chemical element called rontgenium, and it's called RG111, which, I mean, it looks just like RG3. It's just three ones instead of three eyes. It was named after Wilhelm Röntgen, and he discovered X-rays on November 8th, which is an 88, in 1895. And in November, that will be 119 years ago. So, I mean, 11119 backwards is 911. He also died at 91 years old, which is 911, and the magical 77 years of age is when he died. Alright, Wilhelm Röntgen also discovered X-rays on that day. You say X-rays in it with a different spelling. X actually can mean cross, like you see like pedestrian Xing. I mean, it also is an abbreviation of Christ in Greek. So if you X raise, you are raising the X. You are raising Christ, raising the cross. Also, there's a part of the Bible where it talks about the kingdom of God is within you. And what happens when you look at an X-ray? You see inside yourself. I know maybe it's a stretch, but it does, to me, it makes a lot of sense. You see inside of yourself with an X-ray. This guy discovered X-rays, and then his numbers connect to the 111. Just pretty interesting stuff. So I was at work, and this a magazine thing came in that I mean, that's what I do. I do work with like magazine stuff. I type in a lot of information. But somebody wrote on their deal, it said, I can't remember exactly the wording, but it said, I don't want this anymore. Uh, I've, oh, what the heck was it? Time, trying to think. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. It said, I've canceled this 7 X's. And I sat there and looked at it, and I was like, 7 X's? What are they talking about? I've canceled this 7 X's. And I kept thinking, what does that mean? And I finally realized, like, I was like, it means times. They've canceled it 7 times. And what do you think of when you think of an X in time? You think of multiplication. Um, you know, you 7 times 7 or something. Like, why is there time? Why? What does time have to do with it? All right, so I wondered where the X came from, and multiplication. That's weird that there's an X there, and it also has to do with the matrix and blah blah blah. But I found the history of it here. The X symbol for multiplication was introduced by William Oughtred in 1631. It was chosen for religious reasons to represent the cross. That's really weird, considering when you go to this guy and you scroll down, and he was doing it for religious reasons of the cross, yet he had a huge interest in the occult and alchemy and astrology. That's so if he was doing it for the cross, well, I mean, why does he have the interest? Why are all these things, why is he based in this? Why does he have an interest in that? And he was also uh, in early Freemasonry. So it's kind of strange. He also um, made the abbreviations for sin and cos, which is sine and cosine. I mean, red flag to me. That red flag when you think of an X. It has to have something more to do with it. And also, if you read on here, the multiplication sign is also known as the St. Andrew's cross. Now, St. Andrew was like the first apostle of Jesus. He's the brother of St. Peter. And he got crucified, but he didn't feel worthy enough. He thought that he wasn't worthy enough to be crucified on the same type of cross as Jesus. So they crucified him on an X cross. When I think about X, and I think about Xbox, yeah, I mean, and this is an Apple, but on a Microsoft computer, you would close out. Well, there's an X there, but you close out over here, and it's an Xbox. That's what it literally is. That's how you close it. So I checked out Xbox, and the head of Xbox is Phil Spencer. Um, and you click on him, and of course, he joined Microsoft in 1988. Another thing I think of when I think of X, or I think of like XY chromosome, XX chromosomes. Um, I need to do a lot more research. The main point of this video was that I told my girlfriend about how an X represents a cross, and she didn't believe me, so I wanted to show you that X actually does mean cross, because even like on a railroad crossing sign, it's literally like um, R and then a big X and then an R. I mean, why don't they put RTR if a X doesn't represent a cross, you know? Because it's crossing. And then all this other stuff I showed you in this video, what the X actually does mean cross. Um, but anyway, I'll post other videos, I'm sure. So have a good night. Peace. Thanks for listening.